Pleasant good morning to the people of the Virgin Islands. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, central staff. And of course, good morning to our testifiers. I want to say good morning to all present, listening and viewing. The 35th Legislature will receive testimony from the Government Employees Service Commission, also known as the Health Insurance Board, on the Government of the Virgin Islands contract for medical and prescription drug, dental, vision, and life insurance for fiscal year 2024. Also present today are the GESC's consultant, the Garin Group, and representative of the insurance carriers. Welcome to our testifiers, both here and in the legislative chambers and virtually. The Committee of the Whole of September 22nd, 2023 is hereby called to order. Reviewing and ratifying these contracts is a regular undertaking of the legislature. While this process provides for insurance coverage for government employees, retirees, and their dependents, we must not forget the uninsured and underinsured in the territory and continue our effort to meet the needs of this population. This insurance inequity only contributes to our uncompensated care, significantly impacts our hospitals and providers, and compromises the health and well-being of our community. This morning, I want to remind those that's in the audience to please turn your cell phone on, mute, or turn them off as to not interrupt the session, and to ask the Madam Clerk, please call the roll call.
Senator Marvin A. Blyden. Present. Senator Blyden, present. Senator Angel L. Bolquez Jr. Senator Bolquez Jr., absent. Senator Diane T. Capehart. Present. Senator Capehart, present. Senator Samuel Carrion. Senator Carrion, absent. Senator Dwayne M. DeGraff. Senator DeGraff, absent. Senator Ray Fonseca. Senator Fonseca, absent. Senator Novell E. Francis Jr.
I'm here.
Senator Francis Jr., present. Senator Alma Francis Heiliger. Senator Francis Heiliger, absent. Senator Donna A. Fred Gregory. Senator Fred Gregory, present. Senator Kenneth L. Gittins. Here. Senator Gittins, present. Senator Maurice She James. Here. Senator James, present. Senator Javan E. James Sr. Senator James Sr., absent. Senator Franklin D. Johnson. Here. Senator Johnson, present. Senator Carla J. Joseph. Present. Senator Joseph, present. Senator Milton E. Potter. Here. Senator Potter, present. Mr. Chair, we have 9 present, 6 absent.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Any correspondence to be read into the record?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You may proceed.
September 22nd, 2023, the Honorable Novell E. Francis Jr., President. Dear Sir President, I will be absent from today's Committee on the Whole, scheduled for 9 a.m. in the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall on the island of St. Thomas. I am presently out of the territory attending the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation 52nd ALC. Please accept my apologies for being absent. Please forward any pertinent information to my office. I would greatly appreciate your patience and understanding. Sincerely, Samuel Carrion, Senator, 35th Legislature of the Virgin Islands. September 22nd, 2023, the Honorable President Novell E. Francis Jr., Chairman, Committee of the Whole. Dear Chairman Francis Jr., please accept this letter as a formal notice that I will be tardy to today's Committee of the Whole meeting scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. in the Earl B. Otley Legislative Chambers on St. Thomas on Friday, September 22nd, 2023, due to an unobtainable flight to arrive on time. Please be assured, however, that I will be attending the meeting later this morning. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Thank you for your consideration on this matter. With kind regards, respectfully, Javan E. James Sr., Senator, 35th Legislature of the Virgin Islands. September 22nd, 2023, Honorable Novell E. Francis Jr., President. Dear Mr. Chair, Please be advised that due to a previously scheduled off-island engagement, I will be unable to attend today's Committee of the Whole. Please mark my absence as excused and forward any documents to my office. Thank you for your time and understanding. Sincerely, Angel Bolquez Jr., Senator at Large, 35th Legislature of the Virgin Islands. This concludes the reading of correspondence, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Please record Senator Samuel Carrion and Senator Angel Bolquez Jr. as
Excuse me.
excused.
I have one more.
You have one more?
Yes.
You may proceed.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
September 22nd, 2023, Honorable Novell E. Francis Jr., Senate President, 35th Legislature. Greetings, Senate President Francis. Please note for the records, I will be tardy to the Committee of the Whole schedule for 9 a.m. on Friday, September 22nd, 2023, in the Earl B. Otley Legislative Chambers, St. Thomas. Thank you for your understanding. Regards, Senator Alma Francis Heiliger, 35th Legislature, Member, Committee of the Whole. This concludes the reading of correspondence, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. No problem. So please record Senator Samuel Carrion and Senator Angel Bolquez as excused. And certainly we'll recognize that Senator Javon James and Alma Francis Heiliger will be tardy, and we'll certainly recognize them upon their arrival here today. I understand, it's been a long week, and certainly I know that everyone is being run ragged. We had a committee of the whole just last night until late into the evening, so I certainly could appreciate you being here today and continue to put in the hard work that's required of this body. At this time, Madam Clerk, please read into the record today's agenda for the Committee of the Whole.
The 35th Legislature will convene in Committee of the Whole hearing to receive testimony on the following. Bill number 35-0140, an act approving the agreement between the Government of the Virgin Islands and Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company for group medical health insurance. The agreement between the Government of the Virgin Islands and Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company for group dental insurance. The agreement for group medical health insurance between the Government of the Virgin Islands and United Healthcare Insurance Company. The agreement between the Government of the Virgin Islands and Standard Insurance Company for group vision insurance. The agreement for group life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance between the Government of the Virgin Islands and Standard Insurance Company, and the agreement for voluntary, employed-paid, critical illness, accidental injury, and hospital care insurance between the Government of the Virgin Islands and Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company of North America. Invited testifiers, Beverly Joseph, Chairperson, Government Employees Services Board, Division of Personnel. Cindy Richardson, Director, Division of Personnel. Valerie P. Daly, Chief, Group Health Insurance, Division of Personnel. This concludes the reading of today's agenda, Mr. Chair.
Very well. Thank you very much. All of the testifiers are already seated in the well, and at this time we'll go for a sound check and for them to identify themselves and put their name on record. And we'll start with you, Ms. Daly.
Good morning, Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance, Division of Personnel.
Good morning, Cindy Richardson, Director, Division of Personnel.
Good morning, Christian Bergstrom, Senior Benefits Consultant for the Garing Group.
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson, Active Representative, the District of St. Croix.
Gilbert Commission, Vice Chair, active, elected in St. Thomas, St. John District.
Good morning, Sherry Harmon Butts, Strategic Account Executive, United Healthcare.
Good morning, Dr. Michael Howell, Regional Medical Executive for Cigna, Southeast U.S. and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Thank you.
Good morning, Yesenia Sanchez, General Manager, Cigna Healthcare, South Florida and the Caribbean.
Good morning, Dipali Sahay, Senior Client Manager, Cigna Healthcare.
Good morning, Mark Maynard.
Come a little closer and grab one of the mics. Very well. Thank you. And there is anyone virtually? No?
Yes.
Yes. You may proceed.
Alita Mills, Director, Network Management, Cigna.
Let's get your name again, please.
Alita Mills.
Very well. Thank you, Ms. Mills. At this time, Ms. Beverly Joseph, our chairperson, you are recognized for your testimony.
Good morning, everyone. Good day, members of the 35th Legislature of the Virgin Islands, members of the Committee of the Whole, and listening audience. I am Beverly Joseph, chairperson of the GESC Health Insurance Board of Trustees and elected representative on behalf of the active employees in St. Croix. Today, on behalf of the board, I would like to present our recommendations for the contracting of the medical, prescription, drug, dental, vision, and life insurance plans for fiscal year 2024. I would like to thank the members of the legislature for the opportunity to appear before you, the Honorable Governor Albert Bryan Jr., and my fellow board members, Vice Chair Dr. Gilbert Commission, elected active representative St. Thomas and St. John, Lorraine Gums Morton, Secretary and appointed member, St. Thomas, St. John, Laurie Anderson, elected retiree representative, St. Thomas, St. John, Deborah Christopher, elected retiree representative, St. Croix, Clemmy Moses, appointed member, St. John and St. Thomas, Keisha Christian, appointed member, St. Croix, John Abramson Jr.
The committee stands in recess for 5 minutes. And we're out of recess. Again, I apologize on the behalf of our good friends at WAPA. And nonetheless, we'll resume where you left off. And I think Ms. Clemmy Moses was where you were at.
Thank you. Clemmy Moses, appointed member, St. John, St. Thomas. Keisha Christian, appointed member, St. Croix. John Abramson Jr., appointed member, St. Croix. And Andre T. Dorsey, appointed member, St. Thomas, St. John. I would like to thank our advisory members, Division of Personnel, including the director, the chief and staff of Group Health Insurance, the counsel to the board, our consultant, the Gearing Group, and all the insurance carriers for their assistance in developing these recommendations. When you combine the employee, retiree, and government costs of all insurance coverages, including dental, vision, and life, for the upcoming fiscal year, we are looking at a reduction of $403,000, which is 0.3% of overall costs. I would like to begin with some background information about how we arrived at our recommendations. Please note that the total costs and enrollment figures that will be mentioned in this presentation generally exclude the active employees of non-general fund entities that participate in the government employees plan, such as University of the Virgin Islands, UVI, the Virgin Islands Port Authority, VIPA, Frederiksted Healthcare Center, FHC, and the Virgin Islands Housing Authority, VIHA, and non-profit participating groups. At least once every 5 years, the board is required to solicit competitive bids for the insurance program. Previously, bids were solicited for all benefits in 2011, in 2013, at the board's request in 2018, and for 2019 fiscal year. We solicited bids in 2023 for 2024 fiscal year. The RFP was released on March 15, 2023, and bids were received through April 24th, 2023. Advertisements were released nationally and in the St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas source. Publications from March 15th through April 14th, 2023. Through the RFP process, the board received 2 responses for the medical and the prescription drug insurance for both active employees and the under 65 retiree population. 2 responses for dental insurance, 1 response for the vision insurance, and 3 responses for our life and ADA and D insurance, and 1 response for the Medicare Advantage plan for retirees over 65. The RFP evaluations were reviewed at the board's May meeting, and finalist meeting were held in person at the board's meeting in June. Based upon the most recent medical claims experience report through July 2023, the medical claims expenditures are 90% of the medical plan's premiums, exclusive of those plan expenditures such as administrative costs. This has increased from the prior year. Although the losses have increased 4.4% from the prior period, the board was anticipating a 5 to 8% increase in premiums to cover future claims and expenses based upon the analysis by our consultant, the Gearing Group. We received 2 responses for our medical coverage for active employees and pre-65 retirees. 1 from Cigna Healthcare, the incumbent, and 1 from United Healthcare. Cigna's initial response was a no increase in premiums and no changes to the current benefits. United Healthcare proposed a 2% increase in premiums while matching the existing benefits. Subsequently, Cigna offered premium rate cap for 2 years for the contract not exceeding 8%, while United provided a not to exceed of 12%. After finalist presentation, the board voted unanimously to begin contract negotiations with Cigna Healthcare. Since the premiums will remain the same for the upcoming fiscal year, the overall impact to central government will be approximately $107 million, based upon the existing cost share between employees and retirees. It was vital to the board that there were no plan design changes, i.e., increasing co-payments, deductibles, out-of-pocket maximums. Due to the current state of the economy, and Cigna agreed not to change any benefits, nor did they decrease the level of services that are offered with the current plan. In addition, Cigna will continue to include and enhance and following in their contract with the board. Support the USVI community by providing 6 2-year nursing scholarships to the University of the Virgin Islands in the amount of $6,250 per student per year. Increasing the wellness fund to $1 million, currently $700,000. Continuation of the 2 full-time on-site customer service representative. Inclusion of Motivate Me, a turning key wellness incentive program that gives employees and their spouses opportunity to earn rewards for taking charge and improving their health while funding $300,000 in incentives, which they currently do not fund. Continuation of OMADA's pre-diabetes prevention program. Continuation of 2 health improvement officers with 2 health coaches and 2 mobile vans to take healthcare into the community. Placing $1.7 million in a premium at risk for performance guarantee and the Cigna Foundation will be offering $250,000 in grants over the next 3 years to nonprofits in the territory, helping those living with obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other chronic conditions with the goal of improving their overall health. For the dental plan, based upon the most recent claims experience report, through July 2023, the dental claim expenditures are 96% of the medical plan's premium, exclusive of other plans expenditures such as administrative costs. The losses have increased 14% from the prior period, so the board was anticipating a 10 to 15% increase in premiums to cover future claims and expenses based upon the analysis by our consultant, the Gearing Group. We received 2 responses for our dental coverage, which covers all active employees as well as pre- and post-65 retirees. One from Cigna Healthcare, the incumbent, and one from MetLife. Cigna's initial response was a no increase in premiums while providing a premium rate cap of 3% for year 2. In addition, Cigna proposed increasing our annual maximum from $1,250 to $1,500 per year. MetLife proposed a 5% increase in premiums while matching the existing benefits with 2-year rate guarantee. After finalist presentation, the board voted unanimously to begin contract negotiations with Cigna Healthcare. Since the premiums will remain the same for the upcoming fiscal year, the overall impact to central government will be approximately $4 million, based upon the existing cost share with employees and retirees. In addition to the above financial implication, the board was able to negotiate enhancements to the dental plan, assuming we renew our medical coverage with Cigna. Introducing Dental Wellness Plus program. When a participant receives preventive care under the dental plan, cleanings, oral exams, x-ray, their annual dollar maximum increases the next plan year. Participants could add $200 per year. The Wellness Plus calendar year program is as follows. Year 1, $1,550 annual maximum. Year 2, $1,750 annual maximum. Year 3, $1,950 annual maximum. Year 4, $2,150 annual maximum. There will be premium rate caps not to exceed 3% of current premiums for years 2 and 3 of this contract, and additional rate caps not to exceed 6% of the previous year's premium for years 4 and 5 of the contract, and placing $100,000 in premium at risk for performance guarantees. For the post-65 retirees, United Healthcare was the only insurer who responded to the post-65 retiree coverage and remains a competitive advantage in the territory, being licensed to offer a group Medicare Advantage plan. United Healthcare began its partnership with the government in 2013, offering their AARP Medicare supplement plans alongside a custom Medicare Part D prescription drug plan, PDP. The plans offer significant savings to the government and retirees. Over the years, we have worked with United Healthcare to ensure a long-term and sustainable program for the government and retirees. In 2017, the board recommended to offer the state-side retirees 2 Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage, MAPD, which further reduce costs to the government and ease administrative burdens while maximizing benefits for stateside retirees. This proved to be extremely successful with a smooth transition and a retiree satisfaction score of 95%. For 2021, United Healthcare received approval for the territorial retirees to participate in the Group Medicare Advantage Plan offered by United Healthcare, which covers everything covered by the original Medicare with additional benefits, including health and wellness, routine vision checks, hearing checks, podiatry, chiropractic, and prescription drugs. All post-65 retirees are covered by one plan, regardless if they are territorial residents or stateside residents. Coverage is nationwide, and retirees are not required to select a primary care physician, a PCP, and referrals are not required to see a specialist. The proposed rate to the existing plan offered today is a 20% increase above current premiums or an increase of $3.8 million for the 2024 calendar year. This reflects changes and updates from the CMS 2024 final call notice on March 31st, 2023. The final call notice had significant changes to growth rates, Part C risk adjustment model changes, and Part C risk adjustment coding, which negatively impacted the funding insurance company received from CMS for 2024. The board, through our consultant, the Gearing Group, was able to negotiate an option that would eliminate a fiscal impact to both the government and retirees' paycheck. To achieve a no increase in premiums, we are recommending adding a $500 deductible, which is the same deductible amount as a pre-65 retiree. Also, there will be a $250 per inpatient hospital admission copay and a $100 emergency room copayment per visit. Protecting the retirees is $1,000 annual out-of-pocket maximum. Making these changes will save $588 per post-65 retiree per year. It is important to note that the deductible does not apply to primary care office visits, telemedicine visits, emergency room visits, urgent care visits, diabetic monitoring supplies, hospice, preventive services, and vision or hearing visits. Premiums are submitted for regulatory approval to both CMS and the USVI Department of Insurance, and the monthly premiums has been approved effective January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024 at no increase. The monthly premium will be $250.24 per person per month. Based on the current cost share, the government's portion of the premiums would be $12,908,120, and the retirees' portion would be $6,649,638. There have been some additional program enhancements included for 2024 at no additional cost to continuously care for our retirees. United Healthcare hearing aid enhancements. Retirees can utilize their hearing aid allowance to purchase non-prescription over-the-counter hearing aids through UHC Hearing. Retirees can save thousands of dollars making hearing aids more accessible and affordable. Continuous glucose monitors, CGMS. CGMS provide users with real-time information about their blood glucose levels around the clock, leading to a better diabetes management and improved health outcomes. The coverage criteria for CGMS have been expanded to more retirees with diabetes who are not just dependent on insulin, and now also includes those with certain hypoglycemia conditions. Let's move. A wellness program coordinated and designed to interrogate self-service, virtual and in-person wellness programming focused on nutrition, physical activity, mental health, social well-being, financial wellness, and more. Marriage and family therapy. Retirees will be able to see Medicare-eligible mental health counselors, MHCs, and marriage and family therapists, MFTS. Medicare retirees will continue to receive a quarterly grocery store benefit. Retirees receive a $40 credit each quarter to spend locally on healthy food and over-the-counter products. They can choose from a variety of approved items like fruits, vegetables, dairy, meat, pain relievers, cold remedies, vitamins, and more. Credits are added to a debit card on the first day of each quarter in January, April, July, and October, and expire at the end of the year. House calls will continue for 2024, which allows our retirees to have yearly visit with a healthcare practitioner right in the privacy of their own homes. It's a great opportunity for members to discuss their healthcare needs, create a plan for prevention, and get the personal attention they deserve. During the visit, the practitioner will confirm medical history, complete a physical exam, review medication, and answer any questions the retirees may have, as well as provide additional health screenings the practitioner deems necessary. Also, United Healthcare will continue to offer $200,000 to their Wellness Incentive Fund, which will allow the GASC and the government to provide wellness incentives and initiatives for the Medicare retirees. The Standard Insurance Company was the only respondent to the Voluntary Vision Plan and proposed the existing plan benefits with no increase to premiums. They have guaranteed the premiums for the next 3 years, which would expire on September 30th, 2026. The government makes no contribution to the vision insurance. This is a member-pay-all voluntary plan available to active employees, retirees, and their families. There will be no impact to the employees and retirees in the premiums they pay. The vision insurance covers exams and lens every 12 months and covers a new frame every 24 months. Eye exam and lenses, there is no cost to the participants, and they receive up to $150 allowance for frames and $150 allowance for contacts. We received 3 proposals this year for the life and accidental death and dismemberment, AD and D plans. Proposals were received from the Hartford Insurance Company, Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, the Standard Insurance Company, the incumbent. Central government provides basic life and accidental death and dismemberment coverage to all active employees and retirees. The active employees benefit is $10,000 of life insurance coverage, and retirees is $5,000. If an individual passes away because of an accident, the benefit is double times 2. Also, active employees and retirees can purchase additional life insurance through an additional payroll deduction, which is at no cost to central government. All 3 proposals match our existing benefits and all provided significant savings in premiums. The board requested that the best and final offer from Metropolitan and Standard. The Standard Insurance Company prevailed as the most competitive responder. The government will save approximately $75,000 for the active employees and will save approximately $328,000 for the retirees for a total savings of $403,000. In addition to the savings, the Standard is guaranteeing the rates for 3 years through September 30th, 2026, and providing a 10% rate cap for year 4 and 5 of the contract. Premium rates for that additional life insurance will remain the same as they are currently and will receive the same rate guarantees as mentioned previously. For all insurance coverage combined, including dental, vision, and life, plan outlays will decrease from $183.1 million in fiscal year 23 to $182.7 million in fiscal year 24. This is a decrease of approximately $403,000. As you may recall, the Senate absorbed the increases to retirees, employees, and retirees in fiscal year 2023. Employees and retirees are paying the same as they did in fiscal year 19, fiscal year 20, and fiscal year 21. Due to this, employees are not paying the 35% of the cost share. They are paying approximately 27% of the cost share, and the government is paying 73% of the cost share. If the government reverts to the 65-35 split, this would drastically increase an employees' and retirees' payroll contribution, and the entire increase will be on the backs of the employees and retirees. Therefore, we implore the Senate to continue on the existing cost share today, as we come to you today with no cost increase, in the fact, a decrease overall. The board is not recommending any plan design changes for fiscal year 2024. However, we are working on several initiatives to control and reduce healthcare costs. You may recall that for fiscal year 2016, we implemented a more stringent pre-certification requirements for some outpatient services under the Cigna plan through a program that is called PHS Plus. This program continues to produce additional savings. Also, for fiscal year 2016, we increased the out-of-pocket maximum under the Cigna plan by a significant amount. We also enhanced the previous medical conversion provision, which is no longer available with COBRA coverage. Effective October 1, 2018, the board recommended and introduced by Cigna 2 additional programs into the medical plan. Health Matters Care Management, HMCM, will be an enhanced PH Plus, Personal Health Solutions. HMCM, which includes primary and specialty medical care management, more frequent post-hospital discharge outreach, inpatient pre-certification, inpatient case management, including continuous stay review, outpatient pre-certification, hospital pre-admission outreach, a more robust care team including community support with social workers and transition specialists to support timely hospital discharge and a smooth and safe return home. Advanced predictive model and continued 24-hour, 7 days a week support. One Guide, the second program recommended, provides members with proactive education and support to optimize their benefits and incentives, guidance on a cost savings opportunity and programs, holistic review of health information for personal guidance and enhancement, and specialized support in highly complex medical situations. Post-65 retirees will continue to have a clinical approach with the Medicare Advantage offering, whereas the plan focuses on retirees to stay healthy by providing house calls, rewards, fitness benefits, and virtual visits. For those that have been hospitalized, UHC will provide return-to-home benefits, including inpatient management care, post-acute transition medication, reconciliation, and behavioral health. For those living with illnesses, the new plan with UHC will provide disease-specific care management. For those with diabetes, heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and polychronic conditions. UHC will be engaging more with retirees, early identification of those with chronic conditions, provide personalized care, and a digital health coach. The board is also in ongoing discussions with Cigna, United, and VI Equicare to renegotiate professional fees in the territory to a more manageable levels, with a focus on eliminating abuse by certain practitioners, as well as introducing a pay-for-performance reimbursement strategies and air ambulance solutions. The government's wellness program continues to gain traction, thanks in large part to the funding from Cigna in an amount of $1 million per year and from United Healthcare in an amount of $200,000 per year, as well as the focus given to wellness by the Division of Personnel and other agency participants like UVI. The board has also begun to implement communication blitz about the health insurance plan in general and the wellness strategies initiatives via the internet and public service announcement. Focus on initiatives will be directed towards our members knowing their plan as a primary goal forthcoming. In summary, the board recommends accepting the contract that we have negotiated. Members of the 35th Legislature of the Virgin Islands, the GESC Health Insurance Board of Trustees is appreciative of your continued interest, support, and involvement in the group health insurance program, and we look forward for your assistance to ensure this year's recommendation are approved as presented. The consultant, our carriers, the Division of Personnel, and I, on behalf of the board, stand ready to answer any questions you may have regarding our insurance program. Once again, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Joseph, for your testimony. Madam Clerk, please record the Senate Minority Leader, Dwayne DeGraff, as being present, Senator Alma Francis Heiliger, as well as Senator Javon E. James Sr. as being present, and Senator Ray Fonseca as well. Can we get a tally at this time? Did I hear you said 13 strong?
Right.
Mr. President? Mr. President, we have 13 present.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, at this time, before we open up the floor for a 3-minute round, I wanted to ask you, Ms. Joseph, Chairperson Joseph, so is your testimony that the agreement that's before us today is the best at this time and in this current environment in terms of the negotiation that have been done by the GSC?
Yes,
No wiggle room for upward or downward?
you got an awesome contract right now. Before.
Very well. Thank you very much, and thank you for the work of the GSC in moving this along, and more importantly, that there's no increase. I think that that's critical. At this time, the chair will recognize Senator Alma Francis Heiliger. You're recognized for 3 minutes.
Good morning to my colleagues, to the people of the territory, to the testifiers, central staff, and my staff alike. First, I would like to thank you for coming before us to share your information. I am one of those senators that do get annoyed when we have to hear this and then vote the same day. I'm not too keen on that. I'm not putting it on you or anybody, but I don't really like that. But I want to share and ask some questions in regards to, you said that you're requesting or encouraging the legislature to continue to pay the offset for the insurance. If the legislature were not to go ahead with that, what would be the cost increase to the employees?
So I will let Mr. Christian answer. Okay. Christian, give the number.
Good morning. We would anticipate that the cost for the employees would increase in excess of $100 per paycheck.
Okay, so about $100 extra per paycheck.
Yes.
Okay. I know you just said we have an awesome plan. Did we try to increase or negotiate anything to do with dental health?
Your dental plan just went up.
Yes,
higher
I know.
than what it is. So,
I mean, what are the benefits?
The benefits are you still. When we came before the body last year, you were one of the senators.
Yes.
That said.
That's what I want you.
$1,200 ain't enough. We need to go up. It's up to $1,500 now. So the services that you had, you can go now. You still get your 2 dental cleaning free. So the more you get that done and completed, the following year you get $200 added on to that in that service. Bear in mind, because we don't have a network of dentists, we can't force the dentist to comply with the fees that Cigna have. So majority of them are going to do out of network, because then they could bill what they want and we have no control.
I am aware.
So those that are there, you still have your benefits. That's there. Your fillings, your caps, everything.
Okay. One of the reasons where I recognize, I'll use myself as example. Earlier this year, I had an injury when I was at Government House, my knee has a fracture. And for the first time, I probably have utilized my insurance quite a bit because of this injury. And one of the things I recognize in dealing with some of the individuals that are in network, out of network, and even some of the doctors that do utilize Cigna, is you get a lot of different information. Is there a way that from a marketing standpoint or even letting the employees know what are the proper standards where you would give solid information to the public that they could sometimes defend themselves after if something is said to them inside of the doctor's office that is not accurate or not accurate? How do you get them that information?
Okay, so there's several answers to that, and then at the end, I'm going to pass it on to the chief, Ms. Daly. So one division of personnel does have monthly meetings with the HR, and they disseminate the information from the carriers to give to the members on their plan, what is afforded to them. You can also go on mysigna.com, and on there, your benefit summary, what is allowed, what is not allowed, is also there. And part of the Cigna team, we have Patty Van Zen, who is the provider relations person that goes out. So if you call, whether it be DOP or you call the Cigna on-site rep office, both on St. Croix and St. Thomas, they will send Ms. Van Zen out to that provider. This is the information you're disseminating that's incorrect, and to fix it. So Ms. Daly?
Time.
What we do, we normally have, every year we have open enrollment where we communicate the benefits. What we're also encouraging the directors and the commissioners to allow us to come out, the group health insurance staff, to come out and speak to the members concerning their benefits. Because we are aware that a lot of our members are not aware of what the plan covers. So we want to come into various agencies and just, discuss what the plan covers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the couple of additional time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Francis Heidegger. Next, we'll recognize Senator Franklin D. Johnson. You're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to the testifiers. Good morning to the viewing and listening audience. I'm so pleased to hear that the legislature is doing something here. A lot of times we get blows for doing nothing, but this makes a big difference in the cost for insurance if the government don't take this responsibility. So I'm glad to be a part of making sure that our people don't have to pay more for insurance, because it could be very detrimental. Some employees haven't gotten raised for quite some time. When these things goes up, it makes the cost of living and makes things very difficult for families. So I thank you for that. I thank you for your big presentation here today. I want you to elaborate a little bit on the pay performance reimbursement strategy and air ambulance solution, as is mentioned on page 18. Help me out a little bit.
So we're going to split this question. So Mr. Christian is going to do the pay for performance enhancement, as that's our consultant who negotiates with the carriers and the providers. And then Cigna is going to expound on the air ambulance as the carriers. So I'm letting on the record. Christian?
Well, good morning.
Mr. Christian, please just give your name before beginning to speak, and all testifiers, before you speak for the recorder's benefit, please just say your name. Thank you.
Christian Bergstrom, Garing Group. So pay for performance is a model that is stateside and where providers are paid based upon their outcomes. And that is a trend with Medicare on how they are reimbursing providers. And we're seeing traction in that stateside on how providers are reimbursed. And then Dr. Howell from Cigna Healthcare, I'll let him, if he wants to expand on that.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Michael. Good morning, Dr. Michael Howell, Regional Medical Executive for Cigna. For pay for performance, we actually put a program in place that will look at the utilization of the doctors, looking specifically at some of the quality metrics, looking at diabetics, how often they're getting tested for their diabetic conditions, and for example, and then based on those results, we're looking to develop a pool that would allow those that do best to receive an incentive, and those that don't do as good or as well We want to continue to encourage them by sharing some data and analytic information with them so they can improve their performance and participate in a higher incentive.
And who will be actually doing the analysis to?
Well, we actually collect the data. So Cigna has been doing this with our providers on the state side for some time now. It's not the same here because you don't have a great comparison because you're an island entity as compared to the state side where we compare to one county or one region with another, or docs even within the same city. So we're going to create a process that can help us to do that.
And will it be fair to say that we could utilize a state that has pretty much the same cost of living expenditures for our
time?
Mr. Chair? Yeah, my question was, would we be using a comparison since you're saying that, we're an island and we're not doing competitive as far as state, but a state that has this pretty much the same cost of living expenditures?
Yes, sir. The challenge is there are very few states that kind of mirror some of the cost of living that you have here in this environment. So what we will do is look at just standards. So if we're talking, and we can set some targets and measure against that. So for example, you want to make sure that your colorectal cancer screening rates are at a certain level, we can set that level and measure against that and continue to measure against it and move the bar higher and higher till we get to acceptable levels.
Mr. Chair, can I wrap up with one question? Thank you very much, Helenas. Dental service have gotten to the level where just about most every service now is considered cosmetic.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cigna offer supplemental insurance to assist with the cost of the cosmetic service?
I'm not qualified to answer on the dental question, sir.
Anyone? Hold on.
Please recognize the mic. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. So as far as supplemental insurance is concerned, there
Please give your name.
Sorry, sir. Yes. Good morning, Dipali Sahi, Cigna Healthcare. As far as supplemental insurance is concerned, we do offer it. However, cosmetic procedures, depending on what they are for, they're typically not covered under that. However, I would say it would be more on a case by case, and it would be more of a conversation that the member could have with their dentist while they're getting those procedures. And if you like, we can have a conversation offline about this. I can share some personal examples of where I've done this. So,
thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the Lindsay, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Johnson. Next, we'll recognize the Minority Leader, Senator Dwayne DeGraff. You're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, testifiers, all viewing, listening, and present. Chairperson Joseph, I have confidence in you. So when I hear you say that, we've been battling with this for years. So I do agree. And I remember in my first term in 2017 when we sat down, Mr. Chair, and a couple of us who were there, and we decided about taking over the total for the government. And we've been doing it ever since. When you combine the employee retiree, page 2 of your statement of your testimony, the employee retiree and government costs for all insurance coverages, including dental, vision, and life for the upcoming fiscal year, we are looking at a reduction of $403,000, which is 0.3% of the overall cost. What does that savings of that $403,000 mean or do for the government of the Virgin Islands?
Mr. Bergstrom?
Good morning, Christian Bergstrom, Garing Group. The $403,000 was a direct savings from the insurance premiums proposed by the Standard Life Insurance Company. They are actually reducing the rates that the government would pay for both the active employees and the retirees for their life insurance. And then all of the other coverages remained the same as the current fiscal year. So that yielded a $403,000 reduction.
Okay. And also on page 4, it was vital to the board that there were no plan design changes, i.e. increasing co-payments, deductibles, out-of-pocket maximums due to the current state of the economy. That is the one thing that caught me, and I listened to the testimony on the radio. Due to the current state of the economy, what is meant by that? 1 minute.
So on page 4, we're talking about the retirees under United Healthcare. And when the board comes together and we're negotiating and we meet, we have some retirees that come to the meeting, and we also have 2 retirees that's board members. So we're fully aware they're on a fixed income. So when we see things are going up, and this was a change that was coming because of CMS that United Healthcare could not fight. It's a federal level. We pray that the federal government doesn't proceed with their shutdown so that, President Biden has always said, I don't want to impact retirees, so that they would shift and not move it. But if they did, what was that significant impact going to be to our retirees? They could not handle having that additional cost go on. So we went to United Healthcare and we was like, how can you help? The territory is the retirees aren't getting a raise. We hear what's going on with GRS. We bring all of that information to the board. We listen to what is said by this body. When we talk, we listen to when the governor talks about where we're at financially. It will impact every member, not just the retirees, but us as the active as well. And we take that into consideration when we're negotiating with our carriers.
So you looked at the national, global trends,
Everything.
the effect on the local territory.
Correct.
So you think global, act local. I like that. And in closing, Mr. Chair, we looked at support for persons with hearing aids as seniors only. What in regards to the post 65, the younger person? I have some calls in regards to persons who need some assistance with hearing aids and stuff. Is that anything viable, or I don't know if the numbers are too low, or have you ever looked at it? You can answer in the chair's time. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator DeGraff. Ms. Joseph, you could answer on my time.
We have looked at it, but standard book of business, that is considered cosmetic. So most insurance companies do not cover hearing aids, even though we have had members that say, look, I had a brain tumor, I removed it, and because of that removal, it impacts the hearing. On a board level, we would be like, yes, we would cover the cost because you didn't cause that on yourself. There's some instance that happened. However, when it comes to the insurance, even down to some cases, they say it's cosmetic and they would get it on their own. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Joseph, for your response. The chair will now recognize Senator Jabani James Sr. You're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Greetings to the people of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the time. And the reason we do get blamed is because the community must pay attention to the news and the hearings. Go on www.legvi.org and see what the legislature is doing. But we have our job to do here today. The governor approved 6 renewals of health insurance contracts, and here we are to either vote it up or down. And based on the testifiers we have here, they are all in agreement, and I'm happy to know that. So like the testifier said, awesome contract. But I would like to inquire about the Cigna Foundation. You made mention that you have over $250,000 in grants for the next 3 years to nonprofits to help with obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other conditions. My question to you, though, I'm not complaining, but I want to know, when was the last time this number was increased, the $250,000?
I'll pass that question to Ms. Sahi, next to you.
Good morning to Pali Sahi, Cigna Healthcare. So, sir, the amount has not been increased because from what we have seen across the territory, at this time, one organization has applied for the grants, which is Department of Health. We have promoted this program and we have offered the information to a number of different agencies on island that have been interested in this. So at this point, it would be up to them to apply, and should their interest start to increase, Cigna can revisit increasing that amount at a later stage.
So my question to you, the entire $250,000 is drawn down by Department of Health?
No, sir.
Okay, so my next question to you, what about Frederickside Healthcare? Have they ever been informed or have been contacted or even attempted to tap into these resources that you have?
Sir,
1 minute.
The information about the Cigna Foundation is actually public knowledge, and we do promote this. However, I personally have not notified Frederickstead Healthcare Center, but I'm happy to do so should they be interested in applying.
Excuse, Senator? Frederickstead Health Center is a signatory on the contract. They have the information and they're advisory board members, so they know what is going on as far as when it comes to the foundation. They're also a nonprofit, so if they choose to apply, they can.
And can you speak to me about some of the requirements as far as being able to tap into this funding?
Tapali?
Sir, I don't have all the details in terms of the requirements, but I can most certainly share it with the Senate.
Through the chair, I would like to request that money. I find it hard to believe that we have money sitting there and no one is taking advantage of it. Well. Welcome to the Virgin Islands. But I really hope and pray, I see here on page 17 and 18, the board is also going through discussions to negotiate professional fees in the territory to a more manageable level, and you made mention on focusing on eliminating abuse by certain practitioners. If possible, can you speak to that whole eliminating abuse by certain practitioners to us? Anyone?
Dr. Howell?
Cigna. We have a process that looks at patterns of coding by practitioners or providers here and elsewhere. And when we see certain spikes, we use a program to give us a sense whether this is online with what their practice should be coding, whether it's out of line for that. We could then look at the codes, ask for records, talk to those providers, get an understanding, and where we find that codes are being misused, misappropriated, or care has been misappropriated, we have a conversation, and where necessary, involve the right or appropriate individuals to help stop that.
My time was called. I don't want to abuse my time if we are speaking about abuse. But please stay on top of eliminating abuse by these certain practitioners. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the time.
Thank you very much, Senator James Sr. Before we go to the next senator, I wanted to ask you, Ms. Joseph, in your review of the discussion, have there been any changes in the trend of chronic illnesses in the territory? A lot of times we were able to recognize the particular chronic illness that seems to hamper the insurance most heavily. Have there been any change in those trends?
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. The changes have increased. We have seen an uptick in neurology, a lot of strokes, a lot of cardiac. Diabetes still are running high. High blood pressure is running extremely high. And then you have your basic, 3 years ago when I testified, we were seeing level 1 in cancer. Now majority of the information that's coming, it's level 4s. So it is very high within our numbers. And that, because of the cost of the care, and some of it cannot be done here, we're gonna fly off, and it impacts the claims experience that we see.
Yeah, that is good information. We'll try to drill down a little bit more later on. Senator Donna Frey-Gregory, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to the testifiers. Good morning to my colleagues, and good morning to the people of the Virgin Islands and all those listening within the sound of my voice. First off, I just want to congratulate the GSC for the work that they've been doing. And I know that you push very hard. But this morning, my primary focus is around the retirees. But before I ask the retiree question, I have to ask this question because I know we are all in the room feeling all excited about the fact that we are not seeing an increase this year. But my question that I have is, what can we anticipate seeing next year? The chair asked a very important question about the illnesses that we're seeing in the Virgin Islands, and you answered in a very alarming way. So tell me, based on this flat line that we're seeing this year, what can we potentially see in FY 2025?
I will start. Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. I'll start, and then Mr. Bernstrom is going to end for your numbers that you can anticipate. It's claims experience is what drives the cost. So it's very hard to give you a hard number now because this month we trend good when it comes to the claims, not too much high utilization. We fall below national, and then something spikes. there's an uptake in claims. There are more people going for the month of October. That's going to kick over when we come back to do the numbers. So, Christian?
Christian Bergstrom, Garian Group. So for the Cigna contract, for the active employees and the pre-65 retirees, there is a rate cap that is established contractually that will not exceed 8%. So we know that going into next year that the cost will not exceed 8%.
Okay, thank you for that. And I'm going to leave that right there. So, colleagues, next year, note that we are going to see a significant increase in our insurance. So let's not get happy about this. Let's talk about the United Network. So I note that the retirees deductible, so deductible versus copay. So I note that we're seeing an increase in the deductible, the copay. Is it a copay?
No,
the deductible. The deductible for the retirees. Couldn't we do better than that? We talked about the fixed income, but now when they're going to the doctor, they have to take more money with them in order to pay for their copay.
So the Beverly Joseph chairperson and Sherry Harmon Butts is going to elaborate. The deductible is at the beginning of the year. So they still remain, when they go to the doctor, they don't pay anything. Urgent care, there's no cost. It was free last year. It's going to remain free.
What's the increase amount?
So the increase now is $500.
Time. What was it before?
It didn't have anything.
So now they have a deductible of $500.
Now they have, and it was either put the deductible in, or they would have seen a significant increase that I explained in my territory. It would have gone up more.
So right, so
that offsets.
Right, so we're seeing it. While I agree with you, we're seeing a deductible on their end,
correct,
and we are seeing a flat line on the actual overall insurance cost. But there's still a cost to those retirees. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that there is still a cost to the retarees. Mr. Chair, can I wrap up, please? I wish we had more time to ask.
Well, let me allow for Ms. Butts to further respond, and then I'll allow you to wrap up.
Sure.
United Healthcare. Not sure if my microphone is on. Sherry Harmon Butts, United Healthcare. Yes, and as the chairwoman, Ms. Joseph, explained in her testimony, the reason for increase on the Medicare Advantage plan had to do with CMS funding for the 2024 plan year. So while the retirees have not had a planned deductible for the past 4 years that they've been on the Medicare Advantage plan. They will face a $500 plan deductible, and we did that in order to avoid an increase to their biweekly deductions.
Thank you for your response. Fred Gregory, you could.
So I'm going to wrap up with these two, since my time has already been called. You can answer in the chair's time. The retirees' life insurance, what that amount is at the amount that's included in the plan is what, $5,000, as opposed to the Cigna for the active employees at $10,000, and the last one included there is the UHC Wellness Fund for the retirees remain at $200,000, while Cigna is at $1 million. Can we give additional consideration to our retirees in those two categories? I think there's an opportunity and there's room for us to make adjustments in those two areas. Thank you. I await the response.
Thank you, Senator Fred Gregory. Ms. Joseph, you may respond.
Beverly Joseph, chairperson. So, Senator, you're looking at the wellness fund under United Healthcare to increase from the $200,000. We can go back during our next negotiation with United on that.
No? Please recognize the mic of Senator Fred Gregory.
To see it now. We would like for it to be given consideration now. We've done it before, and I really think that more consideration needs to be given to our retirees. Our retirees are on a fixed income, and we talk about it all the time, and we need to give it strong consideration.
The wellness is the money that is given for them for the wellness. They go to the gym, for the produce bags.
I understand.
Okay.
And there's more. So we need to give them more turkeys and we need to give them more food. So yes, that's what I'm saying.
All right, it's okay.
Especially with the deductible being up.
I wanted to go back a little bit to the deductible before we go to the next senator. And have you been able to glean what will be the adverse impact as a result of the deductible? Will we have our seniors or retirees await a more catastrophic illness before actually seeing their provider as a result of waiting for this $500 deductible? Do you think there would be a reluctance for them to actually go in earlier?
Beverly Joseph, Chair. No, because the Advantage plan combines the original Medicare. Under the original Medicare, every retiree have a deductible that they have to meet. It was just absorbed under the Advantage. It didn't have to come out of pocket. It was already met by the plan. Had CMS not implement the changes that we wouldn't be here having that discussion. So once the deductible is met, they don't have to meet the whole 500 one shot. They may have gone to a doctor here and that money that they went and they paid would be applied to the deductible. If they are not sick that they need to have surgery to have to pay that 500, they're going to their PCP, they go into the urgent care to seek care, they do not pay anything and the $500 does not need to be applied. It's going to be applied like if they're going to have surgery, they have to do their lab works. That's when they have to meet the deductible so that the insurance could step in and assist.
Very well understood. Point of inquiry, Senator Fred Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. President. The question with regards to the life insurance was not answered, and the fact that they do go to the lab, so most of them go to the lab every 3 months, so they have to make the deductible. So let's make sure we all understand that there is an increase on the retirees. But the question with regards to the life insurance, the difference is what was not answered and why.
Beverly Joseph, Ms. Daly, Chief Group Health.
Group health insurance. The basic life insurance that the active employees and retirees receive is paid for by the government at 100%. So active employees have 10,000, and then when they retire, they get 5,000. So that's paid for by the government. You want to see an increase in that? Well, that would have to be something that the board would have to take to the carrier and a request made.
Fred Gregory, you wanted to expand?
Oh boy. I don't want to take up all the time, but the question is, so I'm an active employee. We are active employees. When we retire, our life insurance coverage is well, we're here, 50%. It's 10. When we retire, it's 5. I mean, how does that make us feel warm and fuzzy?
Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance. The program offers a life insurance, a voluntary life insurance that the retirees can purchase. They can buy up to $150,000. The basic amount is what is given to the members by the government, but they can purchase additional life insurance if they so choose.
Beverly Joseph, I think what we're not answering, that $5,000 is what the government set forth. So you as this body is who's going to have to make the change to say you're going to pay more for the retirees. We go into negotiations with the 10 and the 5 because once you come into the government working as an active employee, you get $10,000 and then you can purchase the supplemental to buy up if you want more. When you retire and the government say, we will pay, but we're going to pay you $5,000. So if you want to make that shift, it's not the board, it's the body that has to make that change. Because that is what was put in place when you come in and say you're going to be an employee of the government.
Very well. We'll move on from there, but that's something that we definitely will have to take a look at and make that determination. Seem a little bit counterintuitive for that to happen. At this time, Senator Potter, you are recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning to you, my colleagues. Special good morning to Ms. Joseph and the members of the GESC Health Insurance team. I want to say that overall, I am pleased with the package that you and the team were able to negotiate on behalf of the people of the United States Virgin Islands, given just the whole climate of rising insurance costs throughout the nation. I wanted to ask you, though, about the limited number of persons who responded to the RFP. Is 30 days approximately enough time for something of this magnitude in the hundreds of millions of dollars? Is 30 days enough time, in your view, to really maximize the interests among qualified companies? Is it standard?
Beverly Joseph, Chair. Christian Bergstrom.
Yes, the Christian Bergstrom Hearing Group. That is an industry practice for 30 days.
Okay, thank you for that. In general, is there a mechanism for, and I know we have members of the board who are elected, and in theory, that is the voice of the people, so to speak. Is there a mechanism for employees and retirees to weigh in on the type of plan they would like to see, their satisfaction with the plan, etc.? Is there a means for them to weigh in on that?
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. Yes, there is. One, that's why we have our board meeting is open to the public. They can come and share, and also Division of Personnel. They put out meetings, they go out into the community, they have engagements. We have had open house that we will come, board members will be there. Let's hear your concerns. Some don't, even to the very expo that Division of Personnel put in, there was a room for you to go in and out your concern. I think from the data, we had one person in that room.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Only after the fact, you may get persons weighing in after the fact, but generally speaking, the participation, is typically low, I would imagine. Unfortunately, though. How was your scholarship program administered? I know you do the nursing scholarship, the $6,200 a year. How was that? Is that just you provide the money, or Cigna provides the money and gives it to UVI and they do their thing?
Correct. So Beverly Joseph, I'm going to have Dipali answer the question.
Good morning, Dipali Sahi, Cigna Healthcare. So, sir, the way the scholarships work is that we do offer the scholarship amount. I spoke with a representative at the University of Virgin Islands, and the way it's administered is that not all students are eligible for the scholarship. In order for them to be selected, they have to have a grade point of 2.5 and higher. They have to be resident of the territory, graduated from a local high school. They also need to maintain a work-study requirement. And there's no requirement to take the scholarship if it's awarded. Some students actually don't take it. If a recipient accepts the scholarship, then that will apply first, and then any other grant or program that is available to fund the room and board. The program is for 4 years, and the funding for the scholarship the applicants need to apply every year in order to receive the scholarship. It's not automatic, and the reason for this detailed information was there was a comment made that the government actually provides free education to the residents here. So should they wish, they can avail that as well, in addition, our scholarship.
Okay. Mr. Chair, if I may, just one final question. I wanted to ask you about the House Calls program in the retiree plan. And I was just curious. I mean, it's a very good initiative, but I was curious as to the rate of utilization. I mean, is this being utilized by our retirees?
So Beverly Joseph, Chairperson.
And are they aware of it?
Oh, yeah. Sherry, can you say the numbers, please?
Again, good morning, Sherry Harmon Butts, United Healthcare. I can pull that up, but it is highly utilized by the members in both St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. Just to expand on the House Calls program, for those that aren't aware what House Calls does, is we have United Healthcare nurse practitioners, so they're actually United Healthcare employees, that come into the retirees' homes and do a head-to-toe exam. They spend anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour with them, and they take the time to talk to them about their health conditions, their medication. They go through their medications with them and just give them the opportunity to ask any questions that maybe they haven't had had the opportunity to ask with their primary care provider. And we're not looking to take the place of their primary care providers, but what we're looking to do is just support what their primary care providers are already doing. This program has a 99% member satisfaction rate, and once a house calls visit is completed, within 2 weeks, the retirees actually get a gift card from United Healthcare. I can pull up, if you just give me a minute, I can pull up the number of house calls visits that we had in 2022.
Excellent. Thank you. Excellent program. I'm glad that it's being utilized. Thank you very much for the leeway, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for your line of questions, Senator Potter. Before we go on to the next senator, I didn't want to overlook some of the enhancement and certainly the pre-diabetes program as well as the mobile 2 vans. Can we discuss at least the mobile vans, how effective that have been for us?
Beverly Joseph, Chair. The WOW vans, we call them, Wellness on Wheels. As some of the senators know, we took a trip to West Palm Beach. The ideal dream of the GSC board, we wanted to have a wellness center on both islands. And the wellness center came about because of the same conversation with members. I don't have $20 to go to the doctor to do the copay. So, the data from the on-site nurse going to different agencies and having to call the ambulance because employees' blood pressure were high, about to stroke out. So we wanted to have the members and their dependents be able to go just to get basic triage, and they wouldn't have to have a copay to look at. It didn't come with the building. However, our consultant was like, in the mainland, they have the vans that can port. And we looked at it. The nurses can go to the different departments and park up so the employees don't have to leave, as well as when they don't have a scheduled visit, we can go out into the community and park up. So those individuals that has the insurance that are dependents on the plan and they show proof, they can also be seen there. Division of Personnel has a calendar that they coordinate with the on-site rep so that they're aware of where the vans are gonna park up. I have seen the WOW vans at the legislature at St. Croix, so thank you guys for participating. So it is great traction so that the governor has also informed us with the director, hey, let me know what commissioner is not allowing their agency employees to come out because of the importance of catching the sickness before it becomes catastrophic. And we are very pleased with Cigna. Thank you. Thank you for the body and the governor for allowing the WOW vans to come to fruition.
Very well, thank you. And I wanted to get Division of Personnel to just speak to what is happening with the well van. In fact, we allowing for the government agencies to take advantage of this has been indicated. The legislature have certainly done that, but are we seeing that in the rest of central government as well? Please recognize the mic of Director Cindy Richardson.
Good morning, Cindy Richardson, Director, Division of Personnel. Yes, definitely in the collaboration with the board, we were very pleased to introduce the WOW vans. We did showcase them at the Ag Fair on St. Croix, and the WOW van has been very beneficial. They are present at all of the agencies. We do have a schedule, and the WOW van is actually scheduled throughout the remainder of the year. The agencies are requesting it, and we've actually been told it has actually saved lives for some of the individuals as they utilize the insurance just sometimes for their family members and not themselves. So having it go to them, it has been beneficial to all of the agencies participating.
Outstanding. Thank you. Next, we will recognize Senator Maurice C. James, Esquire. You're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Virgin Islands. Good morning, everyone in the room. And good morning to everyone listening this morning. You actually triggered my curiosity when it came to there was a page that talked about stateside retirees and island, I guess territorial. And I was wondering if you have data maybe on the comparison between utilization of and claims. Do you have those? And can you tell me first of all how many retirees are stateside and how many are territorial?
Beverly Joseph, Valerie Daly, Chief.
Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance. We have 5,294 local retirees that are over the age of 65. And then stateside, we have 1,084.
Okay, so we have more people here in a territory, which is interesting because I was going to say we do have an aging population. And I saw, and it's good that they're here, but life is harder here, right? In terms of just groceries and other things that we just have to pay a premium on. I did notice too that, and I wanted to ask this, when it comes to respondents to your request for, is that normal that you would only get 2 respondents? Is that something that is because of the Virgin Islands, or would states get more responses? And
1 minute.
there seems to be, there's a competitive advantage right now for Cigna and United because there aren't anyone else for me to compare them to really. And so I'm just wondering, are we just stuck in terms of competition? We're not?
So, Beverly Joseph, I'm going to start and then Christian going to take off because he do it. When you look at the dynamics of our plan, we're not a self-funded plan. We're fully insured. And in the mainland, a lot of the plans are self-funded opposed to fully insured. You also have a cost split, the 65-35. So getting them to understand and convert to some of the requirements that goes out into the RFP, they like, no. And then when it comes to the retiree portion of the plan, you have to be registered here. United Healthcare is registered to do that. So that puts some of the dynamics in it. Christian?
Before you go to Christian, though, Mr. Christian, so you're actually saying, because I actually think that what you've negotiated is excellent when I compare it to other places. So well, let's go to Christian because go ahead.
Good morning, Christian Bergstrom, Garing Group. So as Ms. Joseph did mention, there is a lack of competition here in the territory. It costs insurance companies a lot of money for their licensures and to file the rates. And there's, not a lot of large group employers here in the territory. And many of the large group employers here in the territory are groups that are stateside. So they are part of a larger organization. So that insurance is technically purchased stateside. And also a majority of governmental agencies are self-insured, meaning that they pay the claims, it's coming right out of their pocket. So in this instance where you are fully insured, you are asking the insurance companies combined to take on $180 million plus in risk.
Yeah.
And they have to be fiscally sustainable in order to take on that risk. They have to be rated well by the financial ranking companies in order to be viable to pay your claims.
Okay, I guess we're gonna come again, Aaron, are we? Okay, for me, I just wanted to wrap up and say this, that I'm actually from the military with TRICARE active, so think about it. For me, this is a big transition because I simply walked in and walked out when it came. Yeah, so I'm trying, but when I looked at it, I thought it was very, very attractive plan in terms of what is being provided to the people of the Virgin Islands. Thank you, Mr.
Can
Chair.
I say something, Senator, to that?
You may. Thank you, Senator James.
Beverly Joseph, when the body is looking at it, bear in mind in the mainland, When you retire, they don't cover you under the insurance. You fall off, you go to the marketplace to get an insurance, and if you're 65, you should have Medicare that will cover you. The Virgin Islands is so rich. When this board travels and we go to the IFEP conference, they're like, the Virgin Islands have to have money. You're still covering retirees. So that is a big component because most states do not cover retirees when they retire. We do.
Good point.
Very well, thank you. Thank you again, Senator Maurice James. Next, we'll recognize Senator Ray Fonseca, Chairman of the Health, Hospital, and Human Services, for his 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And pleasant good morning to all the distinguished panel of testifiers, Beverly Joseph, Dr. Commission, Cindy Richardson, Avery, and all the other distinguished panel. Congratulations. Job well done. You were able to maintain the costs. As a matter of fact, there's a $75,000 saving for the active employees, $328,000 saving for the retirees, total of $403,000. I have so much questions, so I'm going to be quickly and rapidly. So, Ms. Joseph, so is it your testimony that the retirees and the employees will continue to pay the same? Give me some further details on that.
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. For the under 65 and the active employees, they will see note once the body continues with the
contract
and
Okay.
paying the difference that they have, not shifting on the contribution done by this body. They will see no increase for that population.
Excellent. Thank you.
Semi-autonomous, just what I make sure.
Yeah, I understand.
Semi-autonomous then will stay the same.
Yes, thank you very much. The hospitals, I have to mention this. The hospitals indicating to me that they want the preferred provider status. So later on in the year, the Committee on Health, Hospitals, and Human Services is going to invite you to give testimony towards that because, the uncompensated care that the government of the Virgin Islands has to pay for continues to be very expensive. And I want to know
1 minute.
the board's position about waiving the zero copay requirements for services that can be done at the St. Thomas Hospital that our residents travel to, Cleveland Clinic and Mayo Clinic in the States to do. Because, the hospital's rate should be at least the same or higher than the ambulatory surgical center rate. In other words, if you go and have this elective procedure in the hospital and you go and have this elective procedure in an ambulatory surgical, we want our hospitals to be able to receive at least the same or more. Because remember, we want to make sure that our hospitals are getting these insured patients. This is very important. So the Committee on Health Hospital is going to ask for testimony because, you and I have discussed this and I know we can't disclose this. Mr. President, if I can, I know we can't disclose it, but there is millions of dollars the people, us, are paying going away to the States for surgical procedures that can be done locally and will save the government of the Virgin Islands millions of dollars. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the time.
Thank you very much, Senator Fonseca. And next, we'll recognize, is there any response to that comment that was made by Senator Fonseca before I go on to the next senator?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Senator Diane T. Capehart, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Blessed good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to the people of the Virgin Islands. Beverly Joseph and your team that is before us today. I am pleased to hear today that there will be no reduction this time. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of the retirees, the active employees. But one thing I want to address, which I don't think none of my colleagues talked about, we've had an increase with pandemic, natural disasters, an increase of behavioral issues. The territory deserves affordable access to mental health care with psychiatrists and mental health therapists on island, off island. Are there any expansion of services for behavioral health?
Beverly Joseph, GSC Chair. Senator, yes, under the plan, we have the EAP, Employee Assistance Program. And the members, as well as their beneficiaries, can tap into that. And I need to put on a record that and I know some households, you have your husband, you have your wife, and you may have a brother or a mother that's in that home staying with you. Even though they are not on your plan, they can utilize the EAP because they're living in your home and you are the primary giver. So if you know you have someone in the home, they're not on your plan, but they're having a behavioral issue. Stress is a killer. And let them sign on to the EAP. You call, give the information, give them their name. They can go and utilize those counseling sessions. The board right now has put aside some money to give to Division of Personnel because we need to utilize and have a forum done for mental health. I've also spoken with Cigna. They're going to coordinate to get someone to come down here. I know the chief, Valerie Daly, has reached out to Cigna, and I have approved to utilize the EAP hours to make sure that counselors go to each department because everyone is impacted in some form when it comes to mental health.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. But you mentioned earlier about a wellness center. How can Cigna assist with a facility addressing our behavioral health issues? Is that anything in the plans or can be done?
We have board meeting. So when we go to the board meeting, we're writing down the questions and all the recommendations that's asked, and we will tap in and have a conversation on that.
Okay, great. Why is the process so extreme when a primary care provider makes a referral for, Mr. Chair, if I may, for a CAT scan, MRI? Why is the process so tedious? If I feel like if my doctor says you need an MRI because ABC, and then when you go to get the test, then there's such a long process. This might be a life or death situation where I need to have this now. And then they take me through this long process before you could actually be approved. Is there going to be any improvements on that?
Senator Beverly Joseph, Senator Capard, I'll have Dr. Howell answer that question.
Dr. Howell, Cigna. In general, and really specifically, the process is not that long and onerous. If the right information comes in, the process gets approved. The challenge we have here, on occasion, and also on the mainland, we don't get the information. And that's a bad process from the practice side.
So for clarification, if I may, you're
Yes, ma'am.
saying that you don't get enough information from the provider?
Yes, ma'am. And many times when a practice's office delegates that to a radiology facility that doesn't have the records for that particular patient, the radiology facility cannot get the authorization because they don't have the information to even request it. So we've been sharing with the providers, provide the information. In addition, when this came up before, I personally led conversations with offices that wanted to participate or chose to participate and their staff how to use the portal to supply the information to make this an easy process. Didn't get a lot of uptake. We provided information to doctors who had the highest volume, so I know for a fact that we provided the information and are available to provide information when we're asked. We also have Patty, who is our provider specialist, relations specialist, who also goes out to offices and helps them to understand how to do this. This does not have to be complicated. And just in final, when you, as a physician, I'm not always trained to know what kind of test is needed for a particular condition. I know two tests, an MRI and a CT. And depending on the condition for which I'm trying to investigate, it may be one or the other. In some cases, you may have to do two, but you would do them in sequence. As a physician, sometimes I just shotgun order. And when it gets to the process of where radiologists are looking at some of these procedures, say, what is the right procedure? They will offer to make the clarification. We reach out to physicians to discuss that with them to get to the right procedure and work again to make this easy. This is not uncommon. It's not uncommon on the mainland either. But we're working to make it easy. But when you talk about trying to keep your costs low or keep your costs affordable, these tests are very expensive. So we need to make sure we're doing them for the right person at the right time for the right condition. It's a continual education process. It's been throughout my entire career, and I'm sure it's going to go on even longer.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if I may ask one rapid question.
You may.
On page 18, it was mentioned the board is also in ongoing discussions with Cigna, United VI. I'll jump to exactly. It says, with a focus on eliminating abuse by certain practitioners. Can you tell us what kind of abuse does the board encounter?
Dr. Howell?
Dr. Howell, Cigna. There are practitioners that order multiple types of therapies for conditions that don't require ongoing therapy. Physical therapy sometimes can be ordered multiple times for months on end, where the care is not necessary. We even have cases where therapies or treatments can be ordered for which there is no medical record evidence to prove that that therapy was even medically necessary. And when we find it, we reach out, look for that information, query the provider, get them to give an opportunity to explain, and if they cannot, then we tend to want to close that down.
Thank you for that. I was going to ask, how do you deal with it? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Capehart. Senator Fonseca, you had an alibi, point of information?
Yes.
You recognize.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The fee schedule, I wanted to know, because I'm trying to get more income for the hospital. So the current fee schedule that the hospital has, what is the date that was negotiated, and what will it take to begin renegotiating a new fee schedule for the hospital?
Beverly Joseph, Cigna. Yes.
There she is.
Yes, Alita Mills, Cigna. The last negotiated rates were in 2014. However, the methodology that your hospital is on a percentage of charge. So over time, some increases have occurred that we've detected. And we are more than happy to have conversations around the negotiation. Of course, we want to keep predictable and affordable rates, and that is the interest that I think we both have.
Thank you very much. You'll be hearing from us shortly. We want to begin those negotiations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Fonseca. Next, we'll recognize the Majority Leader, Senator Kenneth L. Gittens. You're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to all. Let me first congratulate the team on this today. But I have to agree with my colleague, the first speaker, that, this good work coming before us today, to act on it today, we got to do a little better than that. But thank you all so much for coming to this. And, just before I ask you anything, I got to say on behalf of the people of this territory, especially those in the St. Thomas, St. John district right now, WAPA, we got to do better than this. It is totally unconscionable at this time, especially as we're going through this heat wave. Hopefully there's a remedy to this, quickly, especially the fact that we have these millions into billions of dollars through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, that they could be tapping into these funds so that we could change our infrastructure. However, I wanted to ask, because I understand, and I'm not sure if it's to personnel, Ms. Joseph, or whomever, but it is my understanding that there's a loophole where government employees who find that they can qualify for Medicaid will opt to come out of the paying the government insurance, and then at some point it seems like they're kicked off the Medicaid, and when they end up going to our hospitals, of course, this become another uncompensated care. What could you tell me about this loophole and how could we address this?
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. Ms. Daly.
Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance.
Good morning. And
good
first of
morning.
all, is this so? Have you heard this?
No, I have not. But what I can tell you is that if you are government employees, you have the option to waive the government insurance, but you have to provide us with proof that you have insurance elsewhere. So if you have Medicaid, you can waive the government insurance because you're covered under Medicaid. When you get kicked off of Medicaid, you have 30 days where you can come back to the government's insurance and be covered by the government insurance. We're not going to know when that person gets kicked off of Medicaid if they don't tell us.
Right.
But we allow them within 30 days to come back onto the government's insurance and be covered. So it's up to that employee to let us know that they have no coverage with Medicaid, and then we allow that because it becomes a qualifying event.
Thank you. Time has been called, but I have a habit of calling people phone. So thank you again for what you brought before us, and I'll contact you, Ms. Joseph, directly with some other concerns.
Yes.
And Mr. President, just so you know, after today, I think you will be able to thank the 35th Legislature for assisting with that crisis rapid response for human services with the return of those individuals whenever they're airlifted to the mainland and trying to get back home. All right? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Senator Gittins. Next, we'll recognize the Senate Secretary, Senator Carla Joseph. You recognize for your 3 minutes.
And thank you so kindly, Mr. Chairman. And I want to definitely commend the board, as well as personnel and all of the consultants, as well as Cigna, for putting in a United Healthcare, for putting in a bid, and for our team who were elected by your active employees to negotiate a very fair deal for us. I do have a question where I see a little bit of a disparity. I would like you to turn to page 6. I love this Motivate Me program that you have, but it seems that you're being a bit discriminatory to us who are single and have dependents, because it's only to the spouses. Are the dependents also included in this? Because it only states spouses.
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. Yes, Senator, you're correct. It only said the spouses, where it's not going to stay like that. We're taking it in stages. In the beginning, it was only the policy holder that had it. And we did get feedback. What about our spouses? What about all the dependents that goes? Motivate Me and this particular incentive is to get the policy holder to get hold of their health. Because many times on the data that comes back to the board, it's the dependents that's going to the doctor. It's the dependents that's staying on their health. But the policy holder, that's the employee or the retiree, is not. I've said it so many times before the body. We take everything for gas. It is not gas. It's your body telling you, go check me out. So we're incentivizing you to go.
Yes, Miss Joseph, I would say a family that prays together and exercise together,
1 minute.
stays together, and they take care of their bodies together. So it is a function of an entire unit. I have an exception. I really think it should include the dependents in this, because many of us have opportunities where we take our young people. Yesterday, we had a committee on education and workforce. We're seeing our young people are having a lot of issues. They start from young with obesity, hypertension. They're even looking to commit suicide. God, I'm telling you, this is so the family unit, okay? The family unit needs to be included so that they can provide the supports, because sometimes the children help to motivate the elders, their parents, and vice versa. So that's one part I would like you to really reconsider and look at that.
Time.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one final question, if you would allow me kindly. Thank you so much. I want to go to this area regarding the insurance, especially for the retirees. Kindly indicate for us what is the maximum year or age, rather, that a retiree or a person can collect on their life insurance. How old they have to be? Is it for their whole entire life, or even if they're a centurion?
So Beverly Joseph, Valerie Daly, Group Health Chief.
Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance, is for the duration of the policy. So as long as that member holds a policy, it doesn't matter their age. When they die, the life insurance is paid out to the beneficiaries.
Wonderful. Thank you so kindly, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much, Ms. Beverly Joseph, and all of you. Thank you kindly.
Thank you very much, Senator Joseph. I just want to say for the record that, in fact, this measure of the agreement came down to the Senate on September 15th, after my office called several times to Government House to try to flush this out in preparation of this budget review today. And what was concerning for me is to make sure that this insurance didn't lapse on government employees. 7 days. 7 days to be able to turn this around from receiving it from Government House to filing it, performing it, and have it ready for today. Vice President Blyden, you recognize for your 3 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Board Chair Joseph and all other testifiers here today. Thank you so much for your testimony. On one hand, I would say the board should be commended. As the plan before us has no increase in premiums, and for most part, there were no changes in benefits. But according to Act number 7023, which changed the VI code to require the new health insurance agreement must be submitted by the governor for us, to us, no less than 120 days before the expiration of the existing contract. And in turn, this body should have 60 days to ratify before the contract expires. But as the chair stated, September 11th, it was submitted from the governor to us, and we received it on the 15th. So my question is to you, why is that? And that's a problem, because every year we have to be rushing. We really have no choice. And can you explain to me, please, what the issue?
Beverly Joseph, Board Chair. So yes, on behalf of the GSE, I apologize that you guys got it on the 15th. That was not the overall goal plan of the board. We pushed hard to negotiate, and it was a lot going back. It's not that easy when you get changes on the carriers that's going to change the dynamic of the premiums and the overall cost to the members. Our fiduciary duty is to the members and making sure that when we come and negotiate and execute a contract that is going to come down before the body to be ratified, that we have tried our utmost best. And hearing the challenges with United Healthcare, we was back
1
and
minute.
forth. Cigna was fine. but that United Healthcare, we had to make sure we get best and final. After that, the signatures and the language is going back between the Attorney General Office and the attorneys for the carriers, making sure the language are conducive to what the VI asks for takes time.
What's your recommendation, briefly? Any recommendation?
No, patience.
Okay, very well. And before my time is called, I know there were no premium increase to the policy for retirees over 65. But there are changes to the plan which will have a negative impact on retirees in particular, and especially those with lower incomes, and that bothers me. I know that the changes were negotiated in lieu of a proposed premium increase of 20%, which would amount to some $3.8 million.
Time.
And those changes included $500 deductible, $250 inpatient hospital admission, $100 emergency room, etc. So I believe the brunt of the load is placed on those retirees who are the most vulnerable, in my opinion, on them. So that's my vexation in terms of us not having an opportunity to see what we can do as a body to assist those that need our help the most. So please, I hope, hopefully next year, it comes down on time so we can do what's needed in respect to filling the gap.
Noted.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the time.
Thank you very much, Senator Blyden. And again, I wanted to go back to those, if you could put 3 minutes on the clock for me, please, Mr. Timekeeper. I wanted to go back to the chronic illnesses and just have a discussion in respect to recognizing the trends, and we've had this discussion before, recognizing the trends and some of the preparation. I know that you put in place the pre-diabetes. We have the wellness van. But how important is this information, this data being utilized for us to, again, proactively, and that's kind of open-ended in terms of proactively. I think it's more reactively, but nonetheless, how do we offset, what is transparent or what the data is telling us?
Beverly Joseph, Board Chair. Proactively, everyone has been doing their due diligence. Division of Personnel goes out. They have their meetings, they meet with the HR, give the information to disseminate to the members. The on-site reps and the WOW vans go out into the community, goes to the departments, gives the information. Our wellness programs, trying to give the members back to take track of their health. Motivate Me. We're paying you. When we started Motivate You to start, you would have to wait until September 30th to cash in to get your awards. Now, with the way how Motivate Me set up, if you did your walk and you go in and you see you have $40 on a card, you can claim it right now and get that card to utilize if you needed to get some prescription, whatever you want to do. We're trying everything to reach the members to take stock of their health. But at the end of the day, it starts with you, the member. You have to realize what's going on within your body, and you come from a family that has diabetes, hypertension, cancer. Go get tested. Everything is free. Let me say that word again. It's free for your preventive services to go. You will not, once you tell them you're doing a preventive services, should not pay a copay. It is free. And if you do, get on the phone, call Division of Personnel, call your on-site rep so that they can reach out to the doctor and say, you're probably using the wrong codes. Those codes should be the V codes because the member doesn't pay, not even a copay. They go and get those preventive so that you could jump ahead of the ball and nip anything in the butt that's coming.
Very well. And in respect to the, I'll come back to you just now. In respect to the supplemental coverage, can you tell me what is some of the requirements for the supplemental coverage? Because obviously we want our covered employees to have the best benefit possible to them. Some of the issues that we have heard on in respect to that is that there's some stringent coverage in order to allow for those supplemental additional coverage to be gained. So what is required for the supplemental coverage?
Time. Ms. Daly.
Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance. There's no requirement. Once we have open enrollment, a member can just select the benefit if they want accident, if they want a critical illness or the hospitalization. They just go into Bentech and select those benefits during open enrollment. So there's no prerequisite for them to select that benefit during open enrollment.
So preconditions and those type of things are not a concern once you're within that enrollment period. Okay.
Correct, Senator.
And I know that you just spoke about the RFP, that you just issued an RFP. Is that RFP for the next period of time? Is there next 3 years, 5 years? Or is it on an annual basis? Speak a little bit about the RFP.
It's on 5. Christian Bernstrom.
Christian Bergstrom, Gehring Group. Yes, the RFP and the contract submitted before you are 5 years.
5 years. Very well. We locked in for 5 years. And real quickly, in regards to the $40 quarterly for our retirees, is there a rollover if they don't expend that amount within the quarter? Or they lose it? Does it have to be used or lose within the quarter?
So no, Beverly Joseph, Chair. They can roll over, but by December 31st, they have to spend those dollars. It will not roll over to the following fiscal year. But if they got the money in April and they didn't use it, it can go back on a quarter. The remaining balance will be added to the additional. But they must utilize all funding by December 31st.
Very well. And Dr. Howell, you had something that you wanted to interject?
Yes, sir. Dr. Howell.
Please recognize mic 1.
Dr. Howell Signa. So I wanted to get, if I could, sir, get a little bit more in detail about your question about chronic conditions.
Absolutely.
We lost 3 years due to COVID. So in 2019, we kind of shut down. We're getting back in play in 2022, 23. So I've been reviewing the data. I've been talking with the board. I've even talked at this session before the COVID about chronic diseases, in particular, certain types of cancers. Ms. Joseph did mention that one of the highest leading causes of our expenses are the late stage cancers that we found. When I look at the data and I look at where the cancers are in 3 or 4 major categories: breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and for men, it's prostate cancer. Now, there are a lot of other types of cancer like lymphoma, leukemia, but those are things that you can't screen for. So I can't really tell you I can do much about those. They happen. We treat them with the state-of-the-art drugs, and they get better, and the cancers are held off. So what we've been doing is, let me back up. In order for anything to happen in a community to improve the health, the physicians in that community really do have to take the lead. So one of the things that I've been doing is working to activate the physicians in this community to be aware of the challenges to a greater degree and to reach out and want to start to do more. And we've had some pretty good responses from some of the physicians. Let me give some specific examples of some things that we've done to impact that. We talked about the Wellness on Wheels vans. There are people out there who come into those vans to get biometric testing that don't even know they're diabetic. We set up a process so we could do the hemoglobin A1C, which is a blood test that will let you know if your blood sugar is elevated for a period of time and you probably have early prediabetes or diabetes. So we now are able to perform that test in the vans. We also set up a process that if an individual comes into the Wellness on Wheels van and they see one of the nurses there and they don't have a doctor, we work through a process with VI Equicare, the contracting arm for the physicians, to make sure that there are office availability for folks to get a warm transfer. I can call from the van and say, Dr. Commission, I've got this person here that needs an appointment. They've got an elevated this. Dr. Commission has availability in his office, and we'll take that person. So don't wait 3 months to be seen. We've also turned around and started focusing on those 3 cancers. We're trying to have conversation. I say trying because I'm external, I'm outside of the community, but working with folks in the community, start figuring out how to have conversations with men and women to get the colorectal cancer screening. Now, recognizing that people don't want to get the colonoscopy, they're afraid of it, we've implemented a process called the FIT testing. And one of the labs, LabCorp, has put a process in place with us working with them to reach out to eligible members who are of age and send them a note saying, you're eligible for stool testing or colorectal cancer screening. We want to send you a FIT test. It is a fecal immunohistochemical test. It tests the stool for blood. It's a screening test. It should be done once a year. Because of the change in the schedules, I think the rates, you start at age 40 now. We will send that to eligible individuals. If it comes back negative, we tell them. If it comes back positive, we tell them. But we then set up a process. If it comes back positive, we'll reach out to the GI, the GI doctor on the island will be notified, and they will make an appointment to follow them up. So we've kind of started to close that gap there. Now we got to get people to take the test. That's the challenge. Because of you're an island, I can't do some of the things you might see on TV like Cologuard or originated here because it's a biohazard. And so it can't, by the time it gets to the lab, it can be inactive. So we had to create a process. So we also created locations to pick up, you can drop the test off and we can get it to the lab in time, get it tested. So we're trying to close that gap, but we got to get people to take the test. For prostate cancer, we're talking to primary care physicians. We've talked to some of the urologists here. One urologist said by the time they see the men, they're at stage 3 and stage 4 prostate cancer. And that is appalling. So, and part of the challenge is men aren't even getting their PSA blood work. So we got to get back to the roots and tell the primary care physicians, come on, this is bread and butter. This is blocking and tackling. You're going to get their blood sugar, their cholesterol. Order the PSA. It's a blood test. Check the box. Get the blood test. Now we can identify men who have rising PSAs, prostate-specific antigen, and then know that they are developing something. Don't know if it's cancer yet, but if it's rising, it's telling us something, and so we can now get ahead of that. And then finally, for breast cancer screening, you already have very good rates for that, but they could be better. Women, the screening time is come earlier, so we're now saying you need to go ahead and get screened timely, but you need to make sure that we get that rate higher than it is. But that is the best rate. Women are doing more than the men are. But when it comes to colorectal cancer, on average, a 4-year average is 32%. For prostate cancer, the 4-year average is 26%. For breast cancer, the 4-year average is 58%. Wow. And then then we talk about the Motivate Me. We talk about the incentives. Folks aren't getting their annual physical exams. The 4-year rate for physical exams is 35%. That means once a year, a doctor's or a nurse practitioner is laying hands on you, checking you out, and knowing that if your condition's changing from year to year. Now, some of that could be the way they code, meaning I see you for your physical, but then you turn around and you say your shoulder hurts, so then I make it an office visit. But we're re-educating and using the fee schedule to re-incentivize and raise that level up. The wellness visit pays better. So we're saying, doctors, we're giving you more for this. We're going to need to take it further and make sure we educate the doctors on what the incentives are so they can know. So when a patient comes and said, Doc, I need my physical, it sinks. Yes. Because you go in and say, I want a physical. Doctor says, well, why do you need a physical? I see you every 3 months, or whatever. The hemoglobin A1C is the one that hits me most. And that's what inspired us to try to reach out with the wellness fans. The hemoglobin A1C rate, 4-year average, they get 1.3 tests per year. The standard of care is 2 to 4 if you're diabetic. 1.3 times. That means if you're a diabetic, you're not getting your hemoglobin A1C tested. So I don't know if your blood sugar is under control or not. When you talk about, Joseph talks about chronic disease, heart disease, kidney disease, eye disease, circulatory disease, it's because we've got rampant diabetes in our community. So we're saying, docs, come on. The standard is 2 to 4 times a year. That's at least, on the low end too, but 1.3 is not hitting it. That means people aren't getting the testing. So we're having to re-educate just everyone, if you will, on what's recommended and required. So in order for us to fix the number that you're afraid of, and I think Senator Potter might have mentioned going up again next year, it takes years to get out of some of these trends. because there's cancers I haven't even diagnosed yet. But the goal is, let's diagnose them early. Get them at stage 1, stage 2. Either have the surgery or get the chemo, get the cure, and keep your costs from escalating. But if we don't get engaged on the ground here, and that's a community concern, we need to figure out how we get barbershops, hair salons, church places of worship starting to talk about these things. And that is just not what we do in our community. I'm just going to be honest with you. I know this. I can say this, okay? We've got to do better. But that's where it starts, because I think you started this morning and said you had some, Senator Joseph, that you had a church member, I believe it was, or someone. That's where it has to start, that their conversations are there. Because if they started and go to the doctors and the doctors are in line, we can get the testing, we can get the diagnosis, we can get folks under control, and that's how we lower the trend. But to be honest with you, if we don't do the basics, we're not going to fix this. And unfortunately, we're in a closed society, and you don't have the luxury of losing citizens in your population because they're not coming here to live. So we've got to do better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Howell. I think that was conversation is one that we needed to have, and I appreciate you going into much details about this. What I'm going to do at this time is to allow for a 3-minute recess, and then when I'll come back, we'll see if there's any burning questions by my colleagues, and then we could go to wrap up. The Committee of the Whole stands in recess for 3 minutes. And we're out of recess at this time. Again, colleagues, if there's any burning questions, we're in the committee of the whole today, where we're considering an act approving the agreement between the government of the Virgin Islands and the Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company for group medical health insurance. The agreement between the government of the Virgin Islands and Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company for group dental. The agreement for group medical health insurance between the government of the Virgin Islands and United Healthcare Insurance Company, and the agreement between the government of the Virgin Islands and the Standard Insurance Company for group vision. The agreement for group life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance between the government of the Virgin Islands and Standard Insurance Company, and the agreement for voluntary employee-paid critical illness, accidental injury, and hospital care insurance between the government of the Virgin Islands and Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company of North America. And at this time, if there's any burning questions, wrap-up questions, I'll allow it. None on this side. Senator Fred Gregory, you're recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is there, I've learned from some of the retirees, and I'm not certain if it's true, so I need to validate the information. Is it accurate that the retirees who are 65 and older who relocated to the United States, they are able to receive a different card with different types of benefits? So that's not true.
No. All retirees under the government plan has the same card. It's one card that covers the Medicare original benefits, the Advantage, and the prescription.
All right, and I have one more question. Let me see if I find it. What are we doing to get our doctors here in the territory to sign up for the United Healthcare Network? I think that remains a challenge.
Beverly Joseph, Ms. Butts?
So with the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage Plan, I just talk a little bit about our network. It is a national PPO network.
1 minute.
And with the national PPO network, retirees have access to our network providers, both here on island and stateside, but they also have access to out-of-network providers. And they can get, the coverage for out-of-network providers is identical to in-network providers. We're constantly working, of course, to recruit providers, but we do work with VI Equicare, so that's the network that we work with. So really, it would probably mostly be initiated through VI Equicare.
So how is that happening? How are we really? What does that process look like to really drill down and have the discussions with those doctors that are not? I understand all of what you said, but those doctors that are not in the network as we speak, because if you're out of network,
time.
I know that it's you get the benefits, but you have to pay up front. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sherry Harmon Butts, United Healthcare. But even with out-of-network providers, they should, as long as they are Medicare, as long as they accept Medicare and they're willing to accept the plan. And by willing to accept the plan, that simply means that they'd file a claim for the member with United Healthcare. Mm-hmm. The member should see no difference in their cost share.
I don't think you're answering my question, and my time has been called. I'm just asking, what efforts are we using or utilizing to get more doctors in network here in the U.S. Virgin Islands? That's basically the question. Thank you. That's the question.
That may be something I'd have to provide an answer from our network team. I don't know what else they're doing to recruit providers.
Yeah, I think that that's a very critical question in terms of you know, making sure that there are additional providers in there, because if you're out of network, that means it's hitting you in your pocket. So that if you could respond or provide some additional information on that, that'll be helpful.
Yes, I would like to, Sherry Harmon Butts, United Healthcare. I will also add that providers, we do currently have 48 PCPs on island and 286 specialists on island. But I just want to reiterate that out-of-network benefits shouldn't be costing the members any more than their in-network benefits. As long as they're seeing Medicare providers and those providers are filing for the members, they shouldn't be paying any more out-of-network. It's the same cost share. It's considered what would we consider a passive PPO plan. So where your out-of-network benefits actually mirror the in-network benefits, and the retiree cost share is the same.
All right, we'll get back to you on that. We'll verify the information and get back to you on that. Senator Potter, are you good? You recognize for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask, because I know historically the utilization rates of the employee assistance program has been historically very low. So I just wanted to get a sense as to whether or not those rates are increasing, improving. Are our employees utilizing the program?
Beverly Joseph, Chair. Ms. Daly.
I think the numbers, Valerie Daly, Chief of Group Health Insurance, the numbers can be better. We really encourage our employees to utilize the program because you get 5 free benefits, 5 free sessions, but the numbers are still pretty low. We would like to see an increase in the numbers, Senator. So we have webinars, EAP webinars through the Division of Personnel. We try to encourage the agency, the HR officers, to encourage their employees to seek help when they need it through EAP. And also, as Chair Joseph said, it's for anyone living in that household. So it's not just for the employee, but for everybody that's in that household. And so I believe that we can see an improvement in our numbers.
Absolutely, it's a great program, but having a great program that's not being utilized, you really don't get the benefit of it. So I encourage you to, Ms. Daly, I know you do a good job of trying to promote and push, but we're going to all try to push a little more because we know that mental health is a very serious issue here in the Virgin Islands. On the mainland, I think the Surgeon General has declared a state of emergency in mental health. So it is something that our employees will definitely benefit from. But thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much, Senator Potter. Senator Marie C. James, you recognize for 2 minutes if you need it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually, most of my questions were answered by subsequent interviewers, senators. But I wanted to ask UHC, there was a statement on saying that with the management of the diseases seems to be really the thorn in our sides, I think. And so I saw a line that said UHC will be engaging more with retirees, early identification of those with chronic conditions, provide personalized care, and a digital health coach. That's with the post-65 retirees. And I wanted to find out exactly how were you going to do that, or have you started at all? You may have answered this before, I don't know.
Sherry Harmon Butts, United Healthcare. So the question was around digital health coaching?
Well, how really are you going to, there seems to be, I'll say a reluctance, I'll use that word, on our retirees to really participate. As my previous colleague said, underutilization of programs. And so I wanted to find out, how were you going to, as stated here, engage more with retirees in order for them to change their behavior?
So yes, Sherry Harmon Butts, United Healthcare. We do incentivize retirees when it comes to wellness.
30 seconds.
We have our member rewards program where we reward members for having just basic health screenings like colorectal cancer screenings, annual mammograms, their annual wellness visits, certain immunizations. They actually get rewarded for those services. But we have a lot of other, so I mentioned our house calls program. It's another way that we identify if there's any gaps or health risks, and work with the member that way. Maybe refer them to specific disease management programs from a house calls visit, or maybe we're referring them to local resources because we see a lack in social needs. In addition to that, we've got the Rally wellness program that, even though it's an online wellness program, but members can access our Rally coaching program for support with a health coach telephonically or online. They can also take part in a weight management program. They can also take part in a tobacco cessation program. We've got
Let me interrupt and ask a quick question that I just thought of. You're familiar with the mobile integrated healthcare programs that are done in the United States, where like community paramedicine programs, where paramedics go out and treat patients in their homes? Would that care be covered under this plan?
I don't know specifically, but if it is a Medicare covered benefit, then we'll cover it.
Time. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Maurice C. James. Next, we will recognize Senator Fonseca for his 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I don't have a PhD, but I get a little bit of calculation ability. So this contract that's here before us today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the 35th legislature acting on, in the session, of course, on a contract for $183 million, $183 million. And I did a little math, and I figure about 40% of it goes off island. Now, nobody ain't tell me no information, and I ain't revealing no confidential numbers, but 40% is about $73 million. So about $73 million of this goes off island. Whoop! So just imagine, Beverly, we in the baseball park, we in on first base, we in second base, but is that number in the ballpark? That's $73 million?
Beverly Joseph, Chairperson. Senator Fonseca, I had a feeling that question would come up, so I came prepared for it. So, Dipali, can you please put on the record how much service is done off island and the amount, and what is done locally?
Thank you. And Beverly ain't give me no information.
Good morning, Dipali Sahi. I'm going to defer this question to my financial underwriter, Mark Maynor, if that's okay.
30 seconds.
Well, Sapopa, who won't answer the question now?
Oh, God.
Good morning. Mark Maynor, Cigna Healthcare. I'm the financial underwriter in the case. Excuse me. So in looking at the last 12 months, Senator, they had total claim, and I'm talking about the active employees and the retirees under 65. So they had total claims for the period 7/1/2022 through 6/30/2023.
Can you speak in the mic, please?
Yes. Is that better?
Time.
So for the period 7/1/2022 through 6/30/23, they had total paid claims on and off island of $118,492,891.
Home run. You see, we even out of the ballpark.
That's total. And then of that, the portion that is on island here at the USVI was 52.4% of that number, or 62,121,340. So of that 118 million, 56,345,172 were in the States, USA, and then a small number, 26,380, were in Puerto Rico. Does that answer your question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I see we have a lot of work to do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. But I also think that that's somewhat providing some perspective as well, because we're saying 62 million is spent at the home front, with 56 million is spent stateside, and then 26 million is Puerto Rico.
Yes, sir.
26
26,000 in Puerto Rico.
26,000?
26,000 in Puerto Rico.
Okay, and 56 million at stateside.
Yes, sir.
62 million
on island.
On island.
Yes.
Which is 52%. Very well, thank you for that. Senator Capehart, you recognize for your 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On page 5 of the testimony, Ms. Joseph, it says, in addition, Cigna will continue to include and enhance the following in their contract. Bullet number 3, it says continuation of the 2 full-time on-site customer service representative. Where can our retirees or active employees go on-site to visit a customer service representative?
Beverly Joseph, chairperson for the GESC. Under Cigna on-site representative, one is located on St. Thomas at Niski Center. The other representative for Cigna is located at Sunny Isles in the Medical Center in St. Croix. For the United Healthcare on-site rep, St. Croix is located at Division of Personnel in Orange Grove, and the other one at St. Thomas is located at Division of Personnel at the GRS building. That
Okay.
is where you're going to find both the on-site rep and the on-site nurse if they're not in the WOW vans attending to a department.
Okay, great. I just wanted to give kudos to Battle of the Agencies and the bowling competition. I think they've been well attended, fun. It even boosts staff morale. So I just want to say thank you for that great job that you guys do. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Capehart. Senator Gittins, you recognize for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And before Ms. Sanchez or Ms. Sahia gets bored over there, I think I have a question for you guys. You guys represent Cigna, correct? Correct. I'm told that, are you guys overseeing the Motivate Me program?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So who just responded? Yes, sir.
I did. Dipali Sahi.
Sahi. So is this program offered to retirees under 65?
Yes, it is, sir.
It is?
Yes.
So then the reports that I'm getting is not accurate then, because they're saying that retirees under 65 are not included in the Motivate Me benefit program.
Sir, I will actually take that because I have heard some conversations about that, but what was...
Can you speak a little more into the mic, please?
Yes.
Just pull the mic to you. Pull it. Yeah.
Okay. Is this better? Yes. So during the open enrollment meetings that took place in August, the Motivate Me program, even though the active employees are taking the most amount of advantage for it, it is available to the retirees that are under 65 on the plan. I think between Cigna and the board and the Division of Personnel, we could do a bit better job in explaining that, but this was shared with the members at the open enrollment meeting.
So the fact that you admit that you can do a better job at sharing this information, can I plead with you both to please do that?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, because I'm told that these individuals are also paying either the same premium or even higher. So they should, this benefit should be available to them as well.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Senator Gittins. Ms. Sahi, can you elaborate a little bit again and motivate me for the benefit of those that's listening?
Sure. So this is an incentive-based program that members are able to redeem awards once they're earned. A biometric screening goal is required, and if the member does not complete the goal, they are not able to get the reward. we do have reporting that tracks this. So for the plan year, October 1st, 21 through September 30th, 22, because this is running on the plan year, 3,105 biometrics were completed. In addition, 3,000 preventive visits were completed, and there's a list that I don't want to take up too much time, but if you were interested, I can provide the reporting per category of screening. So that includes colon, cervical cancer, prostate, preventive dental, etc. And as Ms. Joseph mentioned, for the upcoming plan year, there are changes that are better in terms of incentives in the dollar amounts. So currently the incentive maximum is 80. It will go up to 150 for the employee, and the spouses will be able to collect 50, and then depending on each screening as they continue, the amount has gone up. So this was a collaboration with Ms. Joseph and her team to prepare for the upcoming plan year.
Very well. You could provide a copy of that so I could circulate to all of my colleagues on it. Senator Joseph, you're recognized for your 2 minutes. Secretary Joseph.
Thank you so much. I've already voiced my concern relative to persons who are single and head of the household not be included in the Motivate Me program. I know that the board is going to take that under great consideration. Now, I wanted to ask a question regarding fraud in the insurance. We have, at least I've had to interact with some of our retirees who have indicated that they would pay their copay and then they are still being billed by the provider for that amount or sometimes the coverage. Who or where can they go to resolve these issues? Because of course they get their payment in the mail, and it shows that Cigna or United Health has paid, but they are still getting a pay invoice from the provider for those costs. Who can they go to advocate for them so that they can get these issues addressed?
If it's a member under the Cigna plan, they will go and visit the on-site rep, whether it be at Niski Center or at Sunny Isles in the Island Medical Center, to bring in that claims and bring it to their attention. If it's a United Healthcare, they would visit whether Division of Personnel at Orange Grove and St. Croix or Division of Personnel in the GRS Bindle. Those employees are there. They will bring it to the attention of either carrier, and they can also reach out to Group Health and bring it where the chief will bring it to the attention of the board so that we can advocate and work on it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't have any further question, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Joseph or Senator Gittins, do you have a point of information?
I just need some clarity from Cigna again. Your response to me was for those individuals, the retirees under 65, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Is there a contact number that those affected can call you? Because I'm receiving messages still from retirees saying that they have done their screening every year and have not received any benefits.
Excuse me? Senator Gittins, this is Melina Mayer with Cigna.
I can't see you. I could hear someone, but I can't.
Yeah, please turn on your camera, Malina.
Sorry about that. I had some connectivity issues. I work on the Cigna team, and I am available to answer any questions about Motivate Me. I believe there was a little confusion, Senator Gittins. I want to clarify that Motivate Me is just for active employees that are on the GBI plan. In 23, beginning October 1st of this year, spouses will be added to that, as Ms. Saeed explained. The confusion, I think, is that retirees have access to our coaches and the well-being on wheels opportunity. So to clarify, Motivate Me is just for active employees that are on the GVI plan. Apologies for the confusion.
So there's no Motivate Me benefit program for retirees?
For retirees under 65, no. They have access to all the other wellness programs that are implemented by a division of personnel. They have access to our nurse coaches if they want to coach with our coaches, whether it's for chronic conditions or lifestyle changes, biometrics, but they do not have access to the incentive program through Motivate Me.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very well, thank you. I think this rounds out the questions from my colleagues, and I wanted to give Ms. Joseph an opportunity to close off. But before I do that, I wanted to ask you, Ms. Joseph, what about this agreement that gave you reason for concern? Is there anything about it that have been put together here and recommended that you have concerns about?
The current contract
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
before you? No, I don't have any disagreements or concerns about it.
All right. It's fully supported by you and as
Fully
well as
supported by the
board.
GESC Health Insurance Board.
Very well, thank you. You could go ahead and give your 30-second closeout.
Thank you to the members of the 35th Legislature for your continued support. Thank you for Division of Personnel being our administrator on the plan and helping to promote especially our awesome wellness program, Miss Lady Shauna Martin. To my board members, thank you for the hard work that we have put in. My exceptional right hand, the Gearing Group, our consultant, they are always on call to help us to make sure that we put forth the best plan for the members on this plan. I just want to encourage all the retirees, all of the active employees, put your health first. You're the one that matters. You're the policy holder. So all of your dependents, if you're not here, that insurance is going to be finished. It's done. You have to maintain your health. Do not take everything for granted. It's a pain, it's gas. Go and get tested. You have an awesome plan. Utilize your benefits. Your EAP is just not for mental health. You have a financial question, we do pet care, elder care. Everything is under the EAP. Utilize it. Tap into it. All of your preventive services, your breast cancer, colonoscopy, to dental cleaning, it is all free. That is offered here. Please go up and do the supplemental for your life insurance. You're at $10,000. You see the amount of people that's dying. It's expensive to bury your loved one. Get the resources in. We have advocated, we have put it in place for you because we value what you do every day, coming out to work and doing this job. Utilize what is before you and afford it to you. To Cigna and United Healthcare Standard, I say thank you for coming to the table and negotiating. To the governor, thank you for your continued support, and this body, thank you. To the members, we did our best, and you have gotten the best.
Thank you very much. I want to encourage the members as well is that there is an app, My Cigna, that you could continue to track your information. It has your prescription, your vision, all of your cares, your EOB, all of that information is readily available at your fingertips and is updated quite frequently. So please access it. And before you make that phone call, just check your app, and all of the information should be there and available to you. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming before this committee today. Certainly the Government Employees Service Board, the Division of Personnel, the Group Health Insurance, and all Cigna. Say hello to Mr. Mike Triplett for us as well. Gearing Group, say hello to Kurt for us, and keep doing what you're doing, and we look forward to more, even improved agreement moving forward. Thank you very much, and this concludes the Committee of the Whole for today. Please stand by, public. We will be coming back at 1 p.m. today for legislative session. The Committee of the Whole is hereby adjourned. God bless.
Production.